And if you have been on the lookout for new launch condos recently, this condo name would have come out on your feed somewhere. The secondly integrated, all mixed-use development, and the only new launch with a direct connection to downtown line in Tampines. Just a year ago, we've had Parktown at Tampines North, and now we have Pinery at Tampines West. This is the showdown of the East. And if you look at the map, both developments are on the opposite side of each other, which beckons the question, would Pinery enjoy the same levels of demand as Parktown Residences? Let's talk about this today. Thankfully for us, I spent the majority of my childhood days in Tampines, so I understand the dynamics of this area a little better. In this video, we will go through number 1, a quick overview of Pinery Residences, number 2, the expected pricing, number 3, master plan of the area, and number 4, similar integrated developments in the recent years as a comparison, number 5, weaknesses of Pinery Residences, number 6, people who would love Pinery Residences, number 7, direct competition, and number 8, the exit strategy timeline, and finally the scorecard for Pinery Residences. Starting with the overview, we have this mixed-use development that will feature a direct connection to Tampines West MRT station, the blue or downtown line. And for your reference, Tampines West is 5 stations away from McPherson Interchange with the Circle Line, and also 1 station away from Tampines Interchange with the East-West line. It will have 588 units, and this is the breakdown of unit types. 2 to 3 bedrooms taking more than 75% of the development, and the bigger units types, especially the 5-bedroom units, being the minority here, which isn't uncommon in newer developments these days anyway. The commercial side itself features 120,000 square feet worth of space with 60 over shops, which includes F&B or retail, early childhood stuff, and a supermarket. There will be, however, an 80% car park lot allocation, so 474 out of these 588 units will get a lot. I guess they're expecting people to fully utilize the direct connection to Tampines West MRT station. For the expected pricing, the closest reference we have is Parktown Residences. It had an estimated break-even price of 1,661 and then launched at an average of 2,360 PSF. Pinery having a higher break-even price at 1,823, we can likely expect them to start selling at an average of 2,500 PSF, with prices potentially starting at 2,300 plus PSF. This is just based off the numbers as an estimate because there are no official developer price released at the point of this recording. And honestly, for the people who are familiar with Tampines, you'll know that Pinery is in fact in a better location comparatively to Parktown. So I suspect that the launch price will likely be starting from 2,400 PSF, and anything lower would be an extremely valuable buying price. And just to give you a sense of the possible pricing for Pinery, I left behind a table of possible prices, and these are not the official prices yet, but I just did the multiplication based on unit sizes. So realistically, if your Q number is not great, expect to buy into this development at this price range based on your unit type, with 2 bed 1 bath at 1.5-ish million, 3 bedrooms starting potentially at 2 million, 4 bedroom at 2.8 million, and 5 bedrooms at 3.6 million. And again, I must emphasize, this is not the official PSF or price release from the developer. This is just an estimated amount to give you a sense of the possible price range to mentally prep. If you want the developer's price immediately upon release, you can just drop me a DM at 96971 and I'll send it to you once it's released. Now on to the master plan, and looking at it, it seems like we are surrounded by HDBs all around, the closest condo being Riviere, and EC, which is likely to be launching sometime later after Pinery this year. To our left, we have Temasek Poly, and on the right, we have Safra and Middleton International School. The industrial area will likely not affect us because it's low-rise and quite a distance from us. Further down, we have Bedok Reservoir, and the 2 closest condos are Aquarius by the Park and Clearwater, surrounded by their own HDB cluster. And looking at this map, we can safely say that there will unlikely be views for Pinery Residences unless you're willing to take the west-facing unit, which is unblocked for now. But I mean, modern-day problems have modern-day solutions like solar film. If you really hate facing other blocks or facing inwards into the development, then yes, the west-facing units may be the best choice for you. So diving into the immediate area, we can see that there will be a lot of upgrader demand in this area, and not just because they are BTOs, but many of their MOP periods will likely coincide with Pinery's TOP in 2030, which is good news for those who are planning to cash out during their key collection, seeing that you have all this organic demand around you. And looking at the prices of Tampines MOP flats today, we are talking about $1 million HDB cluster right beside you. For amenities, these more commercial tenants will likely be handled by the developer, so we can expect NTUC as an anchor tenant. And if it's anything like Woodleigh Residences, then it will likely be 24/7 with even like a live cooking station inside or a Japanese corner with, I don't know, unagi and sushi. This will be extremely convenient for the people who stay within the development, and if you have any friends that are staying within Woodleigh Residences, ask them how they feel about this. The commercial space would also be occupied by other retail and F&B businesses. However, if you're looking for a wet market or a food center, the nearest one will be diagonally across from you at Tampines Avenue 3, which is maybe a 15 minutes walk. If you are just bored of the entire area, you will be able to head to Tampines Central, whether it's by bus in 3 stops or by MRT in 1 stop. And for recreation, you will have Safra Tampines next to you for the late night bowling sessions if you need to rent various halls to play badminton or do rock climbing. School-wise, within 1 km, we have St. Hilda's Primary, a top 25 school, at least based on the ranking I saw, alongside Junyuan Primary, St. Anthony's Canossian, and Tampines Primary. All in all, this is a pretty exciting neighborhood to live in and extremely close to Tampines Central. In fact, one of the closest condos towards Tampines Central. And this is huge because you will have 3 mega malls there. And now if you're looking at how this mall would stack up against the other recent years integrated development, here's the list of the mall sizes if you wish to see something similar in comparison. Based on this list, Sengkang Grand may be the closest comparison to this, going at 160,000 square feet. If you however feel like Pinery Residences at 120,000 square feet is too small for you and you prefer to buy something bigger, maybe wait for the Hougang Central Integrated Development. But expect higher prices because their expected break-even price is over 2,000 PSF PPR already. Price trends wise, all of them have achieved almost 20% growth since their launch. And now let's touch on the weaknesses of Pinery Residences. First weakness would be the price. Now, being an integrated development, you will be paying for the convenience. Take for example, Nara Residences 2 bedrooms starting at 1.16 million. And even if you say it's Ulu, let's take a look at something a bit more central at Springleaf Residences. 2 bedrooms which launched at 1.078 million, or even Canberra Crescent Residences because our Prime Minister say no more Ulu already. 2 bedroom which also launched at 1.1 million. The truth is, if you're gonna be buying into integrated, that convenience will come with a price premium, and that could range between 10 to 15% higher comparatively to a non-integrated development. Like for example, Parktown, which is integrated, had its 2 bedroom launched at $1.33 million as well. But of course, this price premium that you're paying for provides you with a unique product that only a handful of developments in Singapore is able to rival. So this is definitely worth it in a long run. The second weakness is the potential noise and footfall that comes with the convenience. Because you will sort of be sharing your place of residence with a shopping mall, maybe some people will hate to go through a crowded area to go back home. And because the site plan isn't up yet, there is a small possibility that this development could end up like Watertown at Waterway Point. So we will circle back to this once the site plan is released. The third weakness is the high density neighborhood. While it is good to have immediate upgraders upon TOP and also a constant stream of transactions, some people might feel like this area is too highly populated and all you see is blocks around you. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want unblocked views, then you will likely have to pick the west-facing units. But seeing how well Tampines North BTO cluster is like and how high the prices have been climbing, I would say that facing blocks isn't a deterrent factor for Tampines people. And now the strengths for Pinery and the people who would love this development, starting with number 1, our die-hard MRT fan. If you are someone who needs public transportation in close proximity, it doesn't get better than this. With a direct connection to MRT and also 3 bus stops to Tampines Interchange and 1 train station away from Tampines Central, this is as close as you get to living next to the MRT. Number 2, the amenities hunter. If you are someone that loves convenience at the doorstep or going down to do groceries or even like tapao food without sweating at a coffee shop, then this would be the thing for you. And number 3, the lifestyle enjoyer. Because I for one can't imagine living next to Safra and getting things like a bowling alley, badminton court or even a rock climbing wall next to me. Safra at this point feels like an extension of the condo's facilities. So if you enjoy using these facilities, then this one is right up your alley. And number 4, we have the Tampines Westies. The one who grew up in Tampines West and will understand why it's superior superior to the other parts of Tampines. The what we call 800 plus market at Avenue 3 has plenty of food options and multiple supermarkets and wet markets to choose from. And also there's a Chinese nasi lemak store over there that is extremely famous. People will come from all other parts of Tampines to eat it. So of course, if you are familiar with Tampines, you would have heard of this store. And now moving on to the direct competitors for Pinery Residences. First and foremost, obviously, will be Parktown Residences, expected TOP in 2030, which is the same timing as us. And upgraders will then be able to choose between both developments. Park Central Residences 2023 TOP, which means that they will be selling their units in the 2028 to 2030 period. They might be a competitor if Pinery TOP slightly earlier, but only competition for this would likely be the price point perspective. Why? Because it is an EC. They obviously bought in at a lower price point, and now they will be able to sell at lower than whatever price we're going to be buying it at. However, why this isn't going to be a direct competitor is because they will be selling a 5-year-old development, something that people have stayed in for 5 years. Whereas, on the other hand, you as a Pinery owner will be selling something as brand new. Hence, the price premium. And also, let's be real, Park Central is nearer to Tampines North area and not near to any MRTs. So this is not a very fair competition for them, but whether they will be competing with Parktown or not is another question. And if you're worried because the Revel gang would be buying in at a lower price, both condos will likely TOP at the same time, but Revel will only be able to transact as a resale 5 years later. So selling upon TOP or shortly after wouldn't create a direct competition between these two developments. However, I must say that once Revel has obtained MOP in approximately 2035, that is when it comes down to things like interior finishings or condo facilities or even preferences for integrated developments. That is because both developments, Pinery and Revel, would both be stayed in for 5 years. So expect some form of direct competition from year 2035 onwards. Some people may say that, hey, Treasure at Tampines is also a direct competitor because it's fairly new as well. But remember, Treasure at Tampines obtained TOP over 2 years ago and will be over 7 years at the point of Pinery's TOP, which is why I don't think it's a fair direct competitor. And not to mention, they are also not integrated, and if I'm being honest, it has less connectivity to Tampines Central because they can only rely on bus 292 to get there. And to continue from that, we will have 3 points of exit for Pinery Residences. The first one, which is window 1 at 2030 when we just obtained TOP. The newness premium will be at its peak. Majority of surrounding BTOs would also have gotten their MOP status, granting you the natural exit out of this area. And the entire area will get a moment of reprieve as well because all the construction would have been ceased by then. If the existing MOP units in Tampines are creeping up to $1 million already, this cluster would most definitely hit $1 million in the future as well. Window number 2, which is 2030 to 2034, if you wish to skip the TOP market saturation or are unable to sell immediately, you can pivot to rental for 2 to 4 years. By then, more transactions will have taken off and you will be able to decide to continue renting or to cash out based on your life situation. However, if you're deciding to offload it, it would be best to do so before Revel next to us obtains MOP as well. Comparatively wise, while we don't know Revel's pricing yet, but seeing that it's an EC, they will certainly have a price advantage over us. Window 3, which is 2035 and beyond, if you're planning to buy this for own stay and likely stay past 5 years, you will start to see buyers preferring to go with Revel because of the lower entry prices. This is where the demand for Pinery resale units may shift to Revel instead. If you reach this stage, you will have to play on your strengths as an integrated development to increase the demand for your unit because that will always hold an advantage. Take for example, Woodley Residences and Park Colonial. Though it's not an exact replicate of the situation here because Pinery and Revel are an EC and integrated combo. It however gives you a sense of how integrated holds its own against a direct non-integrated development. And long-term outlook wise, the number of Tampines HDB flats were at 82,000 in 2024, and taking a conservative approach, we can estimate it to be around 90,000 now with the new BTOs from 2024 till now, and HDB is also planning for it to be at 110,000. The number of private properties within Tampines currently sits at 13,000 with the newest addition of Pinery and Revel, which puts the ratio of HDB to private at 87 to 13, an advantageous ratio if if we are comparing this to the national ratio of 77 to 23 HDB to private property owners. And based on these numbers, on the long-term outlook, as long as you hold on to it, it's unlikely for private property demand in Tampines to die off anytime soon. And we are not in an oversupply situation here. If anything, it seems like there is an undersupply of private properties in Tampines. And now to put a tangible number to Pinery Residences, we have this scorecard, the anchors, the market ecosystem, the micro data, and the exit strategy. If you have no idea of what we are talking about here, you can refer to this video to have a look at the 4 pillars that indicates a property's demand. And so in this framework, under the first pillar, anchors, we have number 1, school scarcity. While there are multiple schools within 1 km, St. Hilda's is the end game people are looking at. It being surrounded by almost all of the Tampines West condos, this is gonna score as a 2.5 over here. And number 2, under the first pillar, we have supply scarcity. The total number of BTO units in this area is 5,626. Benchmarking 588 units with them, the HDB to private ratio in this estate is 90:10. Even with Revel entering the mix 5 years later with 572 units, the percentage will still likely be an 80:20, which is great and in line with the market segmentation, so this scores a 4. Why not 5? If it's something as drastic as Central Residences or Eden at Tampines, then yes, you'll get a 5. Number 3, amenity hub. This is a given 5, right? Having its own dedicated mall with F&B and anchor tenants like NTUC with direct MRT access. I don't think we need to further justify this point. And number 4, we have future transformation. And let's be real on this, there is only one more plot beside of us, and so will Pinery Residences enjoy much upside from any future transformations in this area? Unlikely, unless one of the plots down at Bedok Reservoir area on blocks and creates a new wave of new launch buyers. So this scores a 1 for future transformation. Under the second pillar, the market ecosystem, we have number 1, the BTO MOP Wave. This scores a 5 because we seldom see projects like this surrounded by immediate guarantee buyer pools upon TOP. The last time we saw something like this was in Norwood Grand perhaps, where it was surrounded by 3 BTO MOP clusters. But over here you have 6 clusters of BTO, majority of them achieving MOP at Pinery's TOP or close to Pinery's TOP anyway. And number 2, in this pillar, we have the upgrader bridge. If your 3-bedroom units are going to be bought at 1.85 million to 2.4 million in today's market, then upgraders in the area, especially the 5-room BTO units, would have little trouble crossing this bridge. If you are considering 4 bedrooms and above, then you will have to consider the upgraders of a higher median income, because this upgrader bridge could be as wide as 1.8 to 2.5 million by the time you wish to sell. The BTO would help them with their initial down payment, but their salary would have to be able to take a 2 million loan likely to be able to comfortably afford the bigger sized units.
It is the most attractive language a man can speak.
Money.
And while a 2 million loan seems scary, it just means a household income of $18,000 and above is required. So this upgraded bridge from a BTO to Pinery Residences as a resale in the future is very possible for the 2 to 3 bedroom units, and still possible if you've considered the previous factors we just mentioned for the 4 to 5 bedroom units. So this segment scores a 4. And number 3 in this pillar, general affordability of this development. Just yesterday at the point of this recording, the average household income is now upgraded to $12,446, which comes up to 1.4 million loan. Meaning if we are using this median income example and they have the down payment ready, they can afford a 1.9 million condo already. If they can afford to down pay more or take a bigger loan, purchasing units above 2 million is possible, which makes the 3-bedroom entry prices affordable, assuming they have the down payment ready. While it may seem tougher for people to afford the bigger 4 or 5-bedroom units, it's not impossible. So this is a 3.5. And again, this is a general affordability based on Singapore's median income. So whatever numbers I just mentioned was based on the median salary income. There are people that earn way higher than this median income, and also don't think that no one would pay so much to be in Tampines, because Parktown's 5-bedroom has already crossed the $4 million mark. And under the third pillar, micro data, number 1, we will have to access the floor plan plans only when it's out and ready. So we will leave this until then. I owe you guys. And number 2, we have unit type scarcity. And there is a decent spread across all units and subtypes, providing multiple options for people. The only unit type that might be in trouble here are the B1 units, likely the 2-bed 1-bath layouts, because they alone account for 20% of the units in this development. I would think that this still scores a decent 4 overall, but depending on the unit choice you're going for, this number might change. And number 3 in this pillar, we have development design. We will likely have to wait for the site plans and also an explanation of how the integration between the commercial and residential works. But the biggest gripes with integrated developments are things like resident and public sharing the same car park entrances, or sharing the same drop-off locations, or residents not getting an exclusive access entrance into the condo, and it ruins the experience for them. And so we will have to see how it all pans out once the site plan is available. And number 4 in this pillar, we have the newness premium factor. We will definitely give this a 5 because this is a new launch, and integrated, there's nothing to fight against here. And under the 4th pillar, exit strategy, number 1, we have the price refresh rate. Being a medium-sized development and being in Tampines where every single condo has its own fair share of upgraded demand, this likely isn't a problem. Take a look at any of the Tampines West condos, and everyone would have at least 2 to 3 transactions a month, with the newer ones like Tapestry hitting even 6 to 7 each month. I would say that there is definitely enough transactions within Pinery each year to keep the valuations fresh, so this gets a 5. And number 2 under this pillar, we have local or outsider demand, and in this case, 200% local demand. Why? Because Tampines is one of the most popular mature estates as seen from the population chart. And would the average Singaporean want to stay in this part of Tampines? Yes, OCR and integrated next to Safra, 3 bus stops or 1 train stop away from Tampines Central. If Parktown in Tampines North, which is further from Tampines Central and is 93.8% sold, you won't have to worry about the demand at Pinery Residences. And number 3 is similar product transactions, and if we look at Parktown's transactions, the unit that have been sold is similar to the prices that we will be expecting at Pinery Residences. And again, Parktown is at Tampines North. Their 3 bedrooms started at 2.06 million and went all the way up to 2.9 million. Their 4 bedrooms started at 2.865 million and went all the way up to 3.58 million. And 5 bedroom started at 3.84 million and went across the 4 million mark. And if you're worried that the resale market is not prime for such numbers yet, let's take a look at Treasure at Tampines, a condo that TOP 2 years plus ago and will be 7 years plus old when Pinery TOPs. Their 3 bedroom already costs up to $2 million. Their 4 bedroom already costs up to $2.5 million, and the 5 bedroom already costs almost $3 million. So yes, if you're looking at the latest launch that has happened and also the newest resale project in Tampines for today's prices, we can conclude that demand and pricing is very much accepted in Tampines already. So you won't have to worry about the exit strategy for this area, especially coupled with the other factors. And here's the summary of the scores that we've assigned, and I still owe you guys the floor plan analysis and development design, which we will cover in an upcoming video once it's released. All in all, if you're looking for a new development in an exciting neighborhood to stay in, Pinery Residences checks all the boxes. And if you're an investor looking to buy into Pinery Residences, hold it latest till 2034 to exit. If not, then it will be a longer hold till you get your desired exit price. And as always, if you like content like this, consider subscribing to the channel. We release data and analysis driven real estate videos weekly. I'm ASAP and I will see you in the next video.